Welcome back to another episode of a podcast that still doesn't have a name. I'm back once again with my co-host Dre, here for another episode. We'll jump right into this, straight with the Monday Night Football game, a thriller, Colts, Ravens. I'll just start first because I'm already talking. So, man, this game looked like it was going to get away from the Ravens early. Lamar Jackson was looking bad. The Ravens were looking bad. Their defense, offense, everybody was just looking like, looked like they were pretty terrible. Colts got out, scored quick. Jonathan Taylor on the third and long, little just flare out screen, little pass. Took it 77 yards to the house. I had him in fantasy. Wasn't too mad about that. But man, Lamar Jackson looked like a former MVP. All of the critics of him not being a quarterback, if he didn't silence him last night, he'll never silence them honestly, because I mean that was the best game he's played, in the NFL, in my opinion, right there. That was the best game by far. And I don't want to talk too long because I can go on all day about this.
The thing is with Lamar, I mean, I saw that U of L, granted he wasn't passing like this, but I saw, the passing and the running. So I knew once he got it put together. And the other thing was he never truly had like big time, and not saying he has true big time receivers now, but he never had like that dedicated number one receiver outside of Andrews. And it's hard sometimes having just your tight end being your only number one option, because even the Chiefs, they have Hill with Kelsey. So now that he's got Brown stepping up, after really Brown's turned the corner ever since those 2 drops, maybe 3, but I know 2 for sure against the Lions. Sammy Watkins is going to do what he does, but he got dinged up again, got a hamstring injury, but they're getting healthy. They got receivers back, but for him to throw for over 400 yards, I believe it was over like 330, 340 in the second half alone. So, they did his thing, and I'm proud of Lamar. I'm happy. Really the main thing he's just got to work on is holding on to the ball, because he be fumbling in some crucial areas in the red zone. I think this is like the second primetime game in a row that he's done that. But the main thing about this game I do want to talk about, because Lamar was amazing. Lamar was awesome. But this game proves that we're in a new era of the NFL, and we have kind of been for the past couple of years. But a lot of these older coaches aren't necessarily realizing that, because Frank Reich, he played like in the 90s, I believe, started a couple games for the Bills, started one Monday night game, but he's old school football. So they're like, hey, we've got this lead, we got this 16 point lead, let's milk this clock, and things like that. And that's all fine and dandy. It works if you're still scoring. If you're scoring touchdowns and draining the clock, then it works perfectly. But if you're not scoring, or you're getting stopped, or you're trying to get cute and different things like that, the other team is just going to start throwing the ball, and they're going to move down that field quickly. That's why 14-point leads are not safe now like they used to be. Even in the fourth quarter, they had 4, 5, 6 minutes left, and still like 14 minutes or 14 points is not that much. So look at the Chargers and Browns game. The Chargers, quickly came back in that game as well. So coaches got to realize they still got to score. They still got to move the ball. Yes, be conservative, but you can't be as conservative nowadays as you were back then. You still got to score. So the Colts, I think they were just, the reason they lost this game, they just got conservative way too early. And kudos to Campbell for blocking that kick. If he doesn't block that kick, the Colts have a much better chance of winning. I'm saying they would have definitely won, but
that game is probably over if he makes just one of those kicks or an extra point or anything that he missed last night. And like I said, shout out to Lamar once again, man, because if the game plan that the Colts used would have worked, it would have been hell for Lamar, because every team in the NFL would have kind of used that same game plan. They basically just had almost 2 QB spies, basically, and the D linemen, they weren't really rushing. They were rushing, but they weren't really trying to sack Lamar. It's like, we want you to throw the ball. We ain't even trying to sack you, because we try to sack you, now we're going to lose containment, and then you're going to run, and it's going to be hell. And he stood back there, he threw the ball. I mean, he was on fire, only incompleted, 6 passes or something like that, 37 for 43, something off the top of my head. So I'm glad that game plan didn't work, because if that worked, every team in the NFL is going to use it, and it was going to just be an ugly sight until you figured it out. So I think.
And these weren't just like easy throws, easy passes. Also, like the pass to Andrews, where he got lit up by Rhodes, like that was a tight window. A few of the passes to Brown made some good, tight contested catches. So it's not like he's, just dumping off on easy throws. Like he's making what people call like prototypical NFL throws that quarterbacks have to make. So, hey, if you can't stop him, or if you're focused on stopping the run and they start throwing it all over the place on you, this is the Lamar that everybody was, fearing for. So kudos to him and kudos to the Ravens.
The thing about it is he probably has 4, 5, 6 years left of elite, like running the ball skills. Like, I mean, elite top of the level. So if he's just an average thrower right now, and he becomes just a good or a great thrower with those running skills, good luck NFL. Like if he can throw the ball like that with that running ability, yeah, it's gonna be a long
last
headache.
Last thing I'll say about this in terms of Lamar, he's representing himself for his contract. This is the type of game where you could go to the table today.
I'm signing today.
Like, so I want this much money, this much guaranteed, and they would blank check. They give you whatever you want.
And speaking of that, actually, that kind of segues into a topic. Was gonna go John Gruden next, but gonna wait because I have a list of quarterbacks here. All the young quarterbacks. I think they're all within the first 3 or 4 years, something like that. But I got 5 quarterbacks, and it's on the spot. Haven't gave you the names yet, but I need you to rank them. I have Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, Murray, and Josh Allen.
All right. So I just have a couple questions.
And actually, it's two ranking systems. I need you to rank them today. Who would you want? And then rank them 5 years from now.
Okay.
That's my 2 rankings.
So today and 5 years from now,
2 different lists.
My questions are, am I starting a team with them, or am I like adding them to, an already established team?
You don't have this information. You just have to pick a quarterback.
All righty.
You're a GM and it's a draft and those quarterbacks are available. It just is what it is.
So Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Murray, and Herbert. So really no bad option here. So
at all.
Starting off, I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. At 5, I'm gonna
pick. This is today. Today?
Yeah, this is for today. For today, for number 5, I was about to say Kyler Murray. For number 5, I'm actually picking Josh Allen. The reason I'm picking Josh Allen, one question I have for him, and granted, I know earlier in the season I picked him to be my MVP. Like he's one of my few, dark horse candidates for MVP. I have accuracy issues with Josh Allen. It's just, it's last year was kind of a fluke. I don't want to say a fluke, but last year he was really good, but all throughout high school, college, his first couple of years in the league, and then even this year a little bit, his accuracies have been, questionable. So last year is right now the outlier. So he's got to get better, with his accuracy, and he hasn't really played to the same level as last year the entirety of this season so far. Number 4, I'm gonna pick Kyler Murray, and the reason is literally just because of his size. Like they say he's 6 foot, maybe 5'11". I think Kyler Murray's 5'10", just like me. So, and he's electric outside of the pocket, like no question, no doubt about it. But some of his throws, I really think they're a chuck and a prayer, and he's just lucky that he's got D-Hop at the other end. But still a great quarterback. He's probably going to win MVP this year. He keeps on this pace. Number 3, I'm going to go with.
No biases here now.
I don't have any biases, but number 3, I'm going to go with Lamar. Mainly because he's still proven that you really can't stop him running the ball. They stopped the Ravens last night, but they didn't necessarily stop Lamar. Once he found the lane, he was off, he was gone. He could do what he wanted to do. He just got to hold on to the ball. But he still has to be more consistent with his throwing, because he missed Hollywood earlier in the game on an easy throw in the end zone and whatnot. So he's still missing a couple throws. So if he keeps improving, like he showed in the second half of that game, then he'll definitely move up this list. Number 2, for right now, I'm gonna put Mahomes at number 2, mainly because it's just a bad year for the Chiefs. Like, they're doing so much, and I think Mahomes is now starting to press because he knows that his defense is not there. Like, he knows if he doesn't score every possession, they're probably not going to win the game. So because the defense is giving an alarming, I think they're on record pace of like seven yards a play. Like that's what they're averaging. So it's crazy. So I think he's pressing a little bit. We haven't seen we haven't seen Mahomes throw this many interceptions this early in the season. He hasn't thrown this many. Like he threw, I think 5 last year and 6 the year before that all season. So he's number 2 for right now. And I got Herbert at number 1 because he's just slinging that thing all over the field. He's got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and he's picking his spots. You know, I think the Cowboys game might have been his worst game of the season, and still technically they had 2 touchdowns taken away in that game. So, but he's killing it so far this season. He's up there with Kyler, you know, in that MVP race, leading the MVP race. So from 5 to 1, I've got Josh Allen, Murray, Lamar, Mahomes, and Herbert.
All right, so I'll go today before we get to 5 years, 10 years, whenever from now. For number 5, for me, Kyler Murray got me number 5. Like I said, it's not even a shot to be last on this list because this is 5 guys that are MVP candidates probably for the next 10 years. So it just is what it is, man. But Kyler Murray is going to be 5 for me. 4, probably a shock. Got Patrick Mahomes at 4. Just what he's been looking like this year, man. I'm not gonna say he's figured out, but that too high safety look is giving him all sorts of trouble since the Super Bowl. Honestly, you just rush 4, put 2 safeties deep. If you take away that deep ball, he just, he gets antsy in the pocket. He doesn't really want to take the check downs, even though they're always there, and it's just looking a little shaky for him. I think they'll bounce back, but right now it's not looking too good. Oh, the number 3. I couldn't think this far ahead, but I think I'm going to go. I think I gotta go Herbert. I think I'm gonna go Herbert. Yeah, number 3, I'll go Herbert. My fantasy quarterback, thank him. I was down 43 points. He scored 44 for the win. I can't thank him enough for what he did in fantasy, but I mean, I think that he's kind of like Mahomes, whereas he's on the best team, probably weapon-wise. He has Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, number 87, that tight end. Don't remember his name. Austin Eckler. Obviously, I know the tight end.
You wrong for that.
Just can't. His name just never, comes to my brain. But yeah, him, Austin Eckler, like they're pretty good. Defense is solid, even though they didn't look solid against the Browns. So I have him at number 3. Number 2, I have Lamar. I have Lamar at number 2, which is funny because that means Josh Allen's number 1 and you had him at 5. But
right.
I have Lamar at number 2 just because, former MVP. I think he will win the Super Bowl one day. There's still Marquise Brown is coming along to look like a viable, wide receiver 1, but he's still not built like a wide receiver 1. He's still a small, fast guy. Not going to call him a gadget guy because he's better than that now. But I still think they're missing a wide receiver 1 type. And then that'll be number 1, Josh Allen, who will win MVP this year. The Bills have been kicking everybody's ass except that first game. So that's just what it's looking like. All right. So those 5 quarterbacks 5 years from now, would your list change at all or will it be the same?
So 5 years from now, Murray would probably drop to number 5 for me. Mm-hmm. And it's really just his size. And like kind of like what you said with the same thing with Lamar, his running abilities aren't going to be the same as he gets older. So then it's kind of like, does he step into that? If he makes the progression where he starts throwing like those shorter quarterbacks, and I know Drew Brees is at the top of that, so he doesn't necessarily have to throw like Drew Brees. But if he can throw like Russell Wilson, who is a smaller quarterback, then I think he'll be okay. But if he's not necessarily doing that, if he's still having some trouble where he has to get out of the pocket to see things better, to make better throws, that's what'll put him down to number 5. Josh Allen and Lamar, I'm going to say it's going to be between the 2 of them, who's going to be 3 and 4. Because one thing I am saying at least from Lamar has proven that he can carry his team. He's got, injured running backs, hasn't really had prolific wide receivers. Even though he has had, top-notch defenses, they do always have injuries on the defense and they still perform well. He's the most winningest quarterback ever since he started. So I think he might sneak in that 3, and Josh Allen might just move up from 5 to 4, but it all depends. Mahomes and Herbert, they'll take the top spots, 1 and 2. It all depends. I think what we really need to see from Mahomes, because he does have Travis Kelce, he does have Tyreek Hill, he does have Andy Reid. I think what we need to see from Mahomes is, as the years go on, his weapons aren't necessarily those type of weapons. Mm-hmm. He's got like those Tom Brady type weapons for maybe a couple years or whatever. Tom Brady is like last few years in New England, not Tampa Bay. Is he still Mahomes? Can he make his receivers better? Because in my opinion, he hasn't necessarily made Hardman better, Pringle better. Robinson's decent. So, that'll determine 1 or 2. Herbert, he's been playing fine. I think he'll be okay. But yeah, I think there won't be too much of a change. I think Murray just drops a 5 on my list in 5 years.
All right, for me, I think Murray's gonna be at 5 on my list. Like I said, nothing wrong with that. I think he'll be 5. And I actually, kicker, it's weird, but I think Herbert's gonna be 4 on my list in 5 years. Don't know why, honestly. Well, I do know why, because I think these other 3 will take a leap that he can't necessarily get to. Mm-hmm. Number 3, this is tough. I'm going to say Mahomes, kind of for some of the same reasons you mentioned. Andy Reid, Tyreek's going to be 5 years older. Can he still just run past everybody? Kelsey's going to be, 35-ish? I don't know how old Kelsey is, but it'll be very much older. Will Reid still be coaching in 5 years? So a lot of things may change for him in 5 years. 2, oh man, I'm gonna just do a tie for number 1 because I can't do it. So Lamar, obviously, he still has the most potential out of any quarterback, because if he figures out the throwing concept of football, he's gonna be a clear number 1 even in 5 years. His running, it may be like his last great running year, but it'll be, I mean, if his throwing can get half of to where his running is, it's over with. He's gonna be
if he can ever get that true prolific number 1 wide receiver, mm-hmm. he's probably automatically jumps to number 1 on the list, especially within that 5-year span, because he'll still have that running ability. Like I believe that's all the Ravens are truly missing.
And then Josh Allen, I think he's just going to keep getting better. He's getting better every game, gotten better every year. So I think, he'll knock it out. And I can also go on a limb and say, I think every one of these quarterbacks probably wins an MVP. Well, 2 of them already have. So
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We won't even count this season. So starting next season, who wins a Super Bowl next out of these 5?
If I had to put, not Herbert, not Murray, because the Saints are going to the Super Bowl every year, so it can't be him. Let's see. Next 5 years? Oh, you say starting next year. Starting next year. That Chiefs defense is horrendous. I would have to say Josh Allen, honestly, just because of the team. I think he has the best team. Maybe if the Ravens go out and get a wide receiver 1, or if Bateman comes back healthy and he looks like the guy that got drafted first round, maybe Lamar. But if I was a betting man, I would bet Josh Allen, just because that defense is solid. Zach Moss is coming along now. Knox, the tight end, is coming along. They have a number 1 receiver already in Diggs, number 1 corner in White. Like their team is already put together. Like they have a chance to win it now. Well, all these dudes have a chance to win it now, but I think Buffalo probably. I think Josh Allen. Yeah, I'll go with Josh Allen.
See, I had Josh Allen too, because I was gonna go with Lamar, because that's another year for Hollywood, another year with Sammy Watkins. Hopefully Bateman, whatever he learns from his rookie year, he's even better next year. He still got Andrews, and they get all these injuries back. So I was gonna go with Lamar.
That's not bad. That was probably my 2. I think the Chiefs defense is too bad, and then I just don't think the Chargers are ready. And like I said, Murray can't beat the Saints, so he can't get there. Sorry, buddy. Then, all right, now that we got that out the way, I want to just see your thoughts on those quarterbacks. John Gruden, man, who set the NFL world ablaze. Obviously, it came out with Maurice Smith. Am I getting his name wrong? I feel bad. But the NFL Players Association president I think his name is Maurice Smith, but whatever his name is, John Gruden came out and said he had Michelin man lips tired, Michelin lips or something like that, something along those lines. And
Michelin tire lips.
Michelin tire lips. There you go. Those were the remarks. That came out, and then he sent out a statement. If that was me, that I'm sorry. I was just trying to say he was lying, rubber lips, loose lips, whatever excuse he tried to use to cover that up, which obviously was nonsense, bullshit, whatever you want to call it. And
Look,
then
I'm country. My parents were born and raised in the country. Country people have a lot of sayings.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got sayings for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is about country people, we have sayings that we know, all right, cool, we're in a professional setting, so I can say this country saying in this setting. And when I'm just around my friends, family, and stuff like that, I can say this here.
Mm-hmm.
When we call people liars and stuff like that, loose lips. Like, just what's wrong with loose lips? Then even outside of that, this is an email. Like, why are we even talking about that, discussing the email? Like, if this is your friend, call them up. Like, call them on the phone or get together, at a bar or at each other's house, whatever. Like, there's just some things you just can't say. I don't care if he was employed, by the NFL at that time or not, but it's just like, you can't be, that's just dumb to be saying that over email. Like,
and then obviously that wasn't enough to get him fired or to resign, but then it later came out that he used the F word, and I'm not going to say it because this video is monetized, but he used the F word, used some homophobic, sayings and things like that, which is kind of ironic because he had an openly gay player on his team. And so, like, it's just, once that came out, I basically knew it was over. A couple hours passed, and he came out and said he's resigning. Also, he was sending pictures of topless cheerleaders to other people and things like that. This is like a scene from The Office when Michael sent out that email about him and Jan or whatever. Side note there. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate that, well, it's actually fortunate that it came out, because obviously you don't want those people around you.
You also had the emails about the protests. He said that any player that that protested or anything like that should be fired or released. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the homophobic emails, I think they date all the way back to Michael Sam when he was going through the draft process.
Yep.
So this has been going on for like a minute.
They say they were forcing coaches to draft them or whatnot. And I mean, like I said, it's just, I'm glad he's out of there. He was a bad coach anyway, so it's like they're not even missing anything. But yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. John Gruden inherited Tony Dungy's Buccaneers, took them to the Super Bowl. Didn't really do anything else with them after that, and that's pretty much his success.
That's it.
Like, he really hasn't been a successful head coach or a consistent successful head coach since then. I know he had the 10-year deal with the Raiders, but the Raiders were supposed to be playoff teams these past couple of years. They at least looked like it this year, but it's a long season. Who knows what would have happened? So it's just.
I agree. Oh, and matter of fact, let's get to the offensive. I don't even want to talk about Gruden and his nonsense anymore. Offensive, defensive player of the week. Try to make it quick. Give me your offensive, defensive guy.
Offensive player of the week, Lamar Jackson. Flat out, easy. Defensive team of the week is the Philadelphia Eagles, because we were down. We were not going to win that game until finally Big Play Slay got 2 interceptions. Steven Nelson got an interception. Hargrave out here getting sacks. Cox got a sack. Whoa. Like, our defense is the reason that we were able to stay in that game and ultimately win that game. So the whole Philadelphia Eagles defense is the defensive team of the week.
All right. Offensive player of the week for me, that's easy. Jameis, and I'm just playing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. If you really can't pick anybody else. Or you actually pick Herbert. Herbert went crazy as well. Actually, I'm changing my pick. Justin Herbert. He won me fantasy. Like I said, I was down 43. He scored like 44 and a half. Respect to him. My big money lead too. He has to win offensive player of the week. Defensive player of the week, I think it's back-to-back for me. Marshawn Lattimore. Once again, best corner in the NFL. I think he had 7 pass breakups last game, which is a career high for him against Scary Terry, McLaurin from the Washington football team, which is funny because that's how all this John Gruden stuff came about, because they were investigating him. But that's another story for another podcast, another episode. But yeah, Marshawn Lattimore, once again, best corner in the league this year. Unless you say Jalen Ramsey, then I wouldn't argue with you. But quick side note before we pick our winners for the games of the week this week, it might be time to come clean, man. I think Antonio Brown was right. Hey, man, everywhere he leaves is just looking like, hey, man, he had trouble with Big Ben. Big Ben looks terrible. He said Boo Boo Schuster was trash. And hey, man, Boo Boo Schuster, absolutely trash.
He's out for the year now with the shoulder injury.
He had beef with John Gruden. And I mean, hey, look what's happening. I'm just saying, it's just quick side note. I think AB might have been on to something. Maybe we all, killed him for no reason. He said no more white women, and Karen started wilding. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know, man. AB might have been right. He just might have been right. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if that's the case, then the Buccaneers better hope that he stays forever, because the moment he retires or signs or whatever.
Please say something about Brady. Come on. Just do it, AB. Just do it.
He ain't, now, out of all white people, he ain't saying nothing about Brady. Brady done had that man stay over at his house. He got him a job and everything. He ain't saying nothing bad about Brady.
But yeah, I just wanted to quickly throw that in there, man. He might have been on to something.
Brady got him a ring. Like he ain't saying nothing bad about him.
Well, all right, man. Now we'll wrap this up with the games of the week. I don't know the record. I know I'm beating you. That's all I really know. I know my perfect record ended because the Patriots kicker couldn't kick. But hey, that's neither here nor there. First game, I think I know where you're going with this one. Tampa Bay Bucks versus Philadelphia Eagles. Who we got right there.
So hear me out. As long as the Eagles play mistake-free football, do not turn the ball over, our D-line pressures Tom Brady, and our corners play lockdown coverage, the Eagles will win this game, and the final score will be 17-14. If the Eagles do not do that, then the Eagles will win this game 28-27.
Bet. So you got the Eagles. Crazy because
I can't root for them against.
I have
Tom Brady. Ugh.
No football analysis on why I'm picking the Eagles, but they're playing Tom Brady and the Bucks. So I got the Eagles. And for the not favorable, the worst game of the week, but it's primetime in London, Miami versus the Jags. Who we got there? I'm going, finally, Jacksonville. They're getting over it. They're getting a dub. Yep. Ever since their tweet of we're not satisfied, 1-0 of last year, they haven't won a game.
I believe they're 0-21 since then.
Yes. I think they finally do it, and then their streak of 20 straight losses will continue on American soil. But they'll win. They'll win in a different country, man. So I got Jacksonville finally getting over that hump, especially if Tua comes back and he's still kind of hurt, banged up.
And then even if Tua doesn't come back, I do believe Brissett, he got a hamstring injury or something this last game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going Jags as well.
I think I know where you're going. I think we may be tied on this. Might be 4-4. Dallas versus the Patriots. Who we got going there?
I can't root for Patriots. I'll be rooting for y'all the entirety of the game. Bill Belichick, I need you to bring out another defensive game plan like you did against Tom Brady. Bring this out against Dallas. Judon, I need you to step up just like you did this last week. I believe you had 2 sacks. Step up again. I'm gonna need you to put some pressure on Dak. So I'm going Patriots.
And unfortunately, I'm going Patriots as well. Not cheering for the Cowboys. It's like my list is Falcons, Bucks, wherever Tom Brady's at, and then the Cowboys right under there. So I'm definitely going New England right there. And then the last game, Buffalo versus Tennessee. Who we got there? That's actually gonna be a good one.
So if Julio is still hurt,
which he will be because he's always hurt.
I'm gonna go Buffalo because I haven't trusted the Titans enough. If the Titans win this game, it's because Derrick Henry goes crazy.
Which he won't because he struggles against good teams. But that's neither here nor there. And I think I'm going Buffalo as well. Look like we're 4-4, unfortunately, this week. Plenty more weeks to come, though. So, that won't happen too much often, especially once the Saints are on here. I'm just picking them regardless. So, yeah, man, that'll wrap up this one. I promise we'll have a name by by week 8 of the NFL season. I promise. Actually, I shouldn't promise. I already did, so it's too late. We'll have a name. We'll have a name by then. If you made it this far, appreciate you. Hit that like button. Turn the notifications on. Subscribe to Dre's channel. That'll be in the description somewhere down there, up there to the side. All that good jazz. Hey, man, but it's Boo Tragedies. Next episode, and we're out. Peace, deuces, much love, hearts.